like this, everybody coming to support your night, you know, what does it mean?
It's unbelievable, to be honest. Obviously, Monday night, I'm sure everyone's got work in the morning, but now the city can celebrate and everyone's enjoying it. Full house. I think I gave Will 12 days to put this together, and it's filled the place out. So the support's unbelievable, right from everyone in Wolverhampton getting behind it, and hopefully you all get to meet your players and enjoy the night.
So obviously we're here to celebrate the promotion, but also to celebrate the Foundation DB. Could you just give everyone a little bit of an insight why you set up the foundation, what it's about, and how they can support you?
Yeah, so the foundation we set up last year basically to help vulnerable children and young people. We've got 3 good charities that we support. There's one in Wolverhampton, it's called the YMCA Open Door, who help rehome young 16 to 21 year olds, make sure they get back into education. And we're hopefully launching an inner city project in Wolverhampton next year. So any kids who have had a hard time at school, perhaps don't get the parental support they deserve, they'll have the opportunity to use sport and get a diploma out of it, so they'll get back on track. And in India as well, we've got a charity which supports girls who are usually victims of child marriage, which obviously it's not something you come across very often in England, but in India it's common, and it's something we're looking to do, which is obviously going to be a massive thing for the foundation going forward. And just the support tonight has shown how much everyone's going to get behind everything.
And your partner Natalie's here tonight, so why did you decide to do this, and can I see her and speak to her maybe in the interval about how to support it?
Give us a wave, Nat.
You're definitely punching. You are punching. Why did you decide to do it?
Yeah, just as a young guy growing up in the area, I was always fortunate. My parents always supported me right from the beginning. But there's not so many kids out there that can say that, and I want to be able to give an opportunity to people who want to do well for themselves, who perhaps don't get the support at home. So if a kid happens to be homeless or out of accommodation, the YMCA Open Door take them in and give them a chance to get back into education. And likewise with Football for Peace, we're hoping to get kids playing sport and enjoying it.
Yeah, I started in Scotland at Livingston, the youth teams there, and I was let go because they said I was too small. So unfortunately for me, I wasn't the biggest like these giants. But no, after that, I started an apprenticeship as a refrigeration and air conditioning engineer, and I did that for 3 years before I went full-time football. I played for a team, Queen's Park, in the 3rd division in Scotland, and then after that I moved to Dundee United, where I had 3 years. It was okay, enjoyed my time. And after that I had the chance to go to Poland, and I just thought, yeah, why not? We'll go and see the opportunity. Me and my wife went over and we embraced it, we enjoyed it. Won the title over there, it was a great experience. And then from there I moved to Turkey, was there, enjoyed the sun. It's a bit better than here, but again, just enjoyed the time, we were there for a year and a half. And then I get the opportunity to come back to Wolves, and after speaking to the manager and various other people, the project that was going to be happening, it was really appealing. And thankfully everything that was on the drawing board has happened this season, and we're sitting here celebrating a championship. So it's been an enjoyable time, and hopefully many more moments for us to come.
You left Norwich, how hard was that, and did you feel that coming here you had a bit of a point to prove maybe?
Yeah, obviously being at Norwich for such a long period of time and being such a big part of my life, it was hard to move. And as Dan said there, my wife and kids are still live in Norwich, so it's a bit of a commute. But it's similar to Baz. It was an opportunity. Norwich decided that they no longer wanted to keep hold of me or indeed Ryan. So we've stuck 2 fingers up at them this year. So. I think obviously the infrastructure at Wolves is far greater than it was at Norwich. With all due respect to them, I think the stadium's obviously bigger. The fans have been tremendous this year, so thank you to each and every one of you who've come home and away. We've really appreciated you, spurred us on in every game. The training ground's fantastic, and I think when you look at the owners who have come in, obviously they've been here for a couple of years now, 3 years. You know that they've stuck by us. They've made sure that the investments still come in. And a lot of foreign owners, you know, people are sceptical about when they do come in because they're not sure if it's just coming in to make a quick buck. You know, these owners are here to stay, and they're determined to have success. And you know, this is the first run on that ladder. And as a player, I want to be part of it even more going forward. And you know, it's a credit to the group and Fosun as a group, and Jeff Shee, who's at the training ground every day, and the manager they brought in to drive that success out of the group of players. And like I said, as a group, you know, myself, Ryan, Barry were welcomed with open arms from day one, and we haven't looked back since.
Everyone's seen the sort of style of playing, how well we've done this year, and sort of being involved with Norwich before is obviously a big club, and I've been in the Premiership with them, but the quality this team have got and shown since sort of day one, since I've been here, it's unbelievable, really. I mean, you look at the ages of the players that have come in as well. You've got a lot of foreign boys are young, a bit of experience obviously up here. Now I think we're probably the 4 oldest at the club at the minute, but yeah, it stands us in good stead for the future. I mean, the players they brought in, the attitude, the commitment, and the way they've integrated with all the lads has been unbelievable. And I think that's probably the way you do have when you bring people in like that. But as I said, they've settled in unbelievable, and they're here to stay. So I think all the people that keep saying, it's a one season, they're all going to leave, all this stuff, I think it's just what they're saying, you know what I mean? It's not true. The lads love it here, and I think you'll see from next season what we're saying, what we believe.
Kept everybody motivated. How have you lot kept the standards so high?
I think you just look at his backroom stuff, and they're so motivated. It's unbelievable. I think they tried to get us back in on the 25th of May or something, give us like a week off.
Wow. Well, you'll be in Vegas then, won't you?
No, but they're so focused every day. They come into training, and obviously a lot of their families are still in Portugal, so their priority and their focus is purely on Wolves, which is great for the club and great for the players. I mean, sometimes if you've not played and you come in on a Sunday morning, you know, a few lads might have their heads down, they might be sulking a little bit, which you get in football clubs. But this season, I can honestly say that there's not been a single player who's had the chin down. Everyone's wanted to come into training, wanted to work hard, and really push the person who's in their position and be ready for the opportunity.
Can you put your finger on it? What are the things that have made it such a successful season?
There's a few things. I think the one thing that stands out is when I remember speaking to him and he spoke to the group, he just elaborated the fact that he wanted the player to be at the centre of everything. So the staff were working for the players, the club were working for the players, just to make sure they had everything and there was no stone unturned, and that made sure that, you know, if a player needs a bit of extra recovery, they're going to get it. If they need an extra day off, they're going to get it. And I think making sure the player is at the centre of everything has given the player no excuse not to perform. And players love making excuses, trust me. So doing that, he's basically empowered the players and made them feel, you know, that they're ready at every moment to perform. I mean, everyone was worried about the lads coming over from Portugal and not being able to hack it this season. I love the chant, we're always in the winter. And that's proved to be wrong. So it's been an unbelievable season to be a part of, and it's probably been my best at Wolves. I've really enjoyed every moment of it. The way the fans are behind the team, and even the support for Carl has been emphatic, and I think every single person in this room feels so warm and so happy with how the club are.
All you really had was pre-season, and then because I remember Shrewsbury away, it wasn't, you know, they beat you, and then you've gone on and you've beaten Middlesbrough and never looked back. So how did he drill that system into you so well?
I think, like you said, pre-season, it was from the very first day that we met up. Basically said, look, this is how we're going to play. We're going to work on it. Put your trust in me because I trust you as players and as individuals that it's going to work. It's going to take time, but I think that's why we've been successful, because everyone bought into it and is on the same page. You know, and that's, as a team, we've been different class this season.
Every training session, every day is a new one, and you know, if you can take something positive from every session, then you're going to improve as not just a goalkeeper, but as an individual as well. And that's what I try to do. You know, I go into every session trying to be the best that I can be, and trying to make sure I take it into games and try and be the best in the games that I can be. You know, sometimes it's not as good as I want it to be, but I'm extremely harsh on myself as well as many footballers are. So You know, it's been a fantastic season for me on a personal level, but a lot of that has come from the help I've had from the players and obviously the staff as well.
The important ones are the ones like Middlesbrough going down to 9 men and seeing it through. They're the games that actually win your league. At the end of the season, you look back at them, and if things didn't turn out how they did, it would have been a different week that week. There was a massive week for us going into the games that we're leading on, and as John said, I think during the game, I mean, we should have had the penalty, they should have had a man sent off. 5 minutes later, we're down to 10 men. So little things like that happen, but as I said, it shows the work we've been putting in all year during training, during pre-season, and as I said, the team spirit again. And I think everyone could see on that day the way our shape was, how hard we dug in, that we've sort of been working on that for years.
One highlight of the season.
I'll probably say that goal, really, for me personally, but yeah, it's actually a tough one, you know. There's been so many good things happen throughout the year that to pick one is hard, and I mean, yeah, the Friday night weren't bad when we got promoted watching that game, but was it Saturday? We playing Saturday? That Saturday night was alright as well.
Come on then, as soon as we got to that moment, come on. What's it like to save a penalty in Cardiff?
I played with you 5 years, it's the first time I've seen you save.
You wanted to get involved. Come on, talk us through that final 5 minutes and the emotions of that 5 minutes. It must have been unbelievable.
I save as many penalties as he scores goals. That's how rare it is. So I think the last penalty I saved before that was actually against Cardiff at Carrow Road. So just against the Welsh. It's only Welsh. Yeah, no, it's obviously a great feeling. You know, in the 90th minute to concede a penalty when I said before, I thought we dominated the game. I thought we should have been a couple of goals up. But you know, we've had a few games like that during the season where we probably should have been a lot more comfortable than we were. And you know, to be able to pull a save out at that time against who it was against in that moment was fantastic. And then Mike Dean goes and ruins it by giving another penalty. So, always trying to remember where the penalty takers go. Thankfully, this time I forgot. Yeah. So every penalty Gary Medina's had before went to my right side. Something I just had a feeling he was going to my left. Thankfully, it was the right one. And then when Hoylers obviously stepped up for the second one, I had a feeling he was going to try and go high. I went the wrong way, as I do. And thankfully, it's hit the bar, gone back out, and then I think Benno's put enough pressure on him from the rebound to make him head it wide. And you know, he's blowing his whistle, and yeah, the euphoria and the celebrations afterwards summed up exactly what it meant to everybody. You know, and I think Neil Warnock obviously didn't like it. But
you know, he didn't want to do the questions. You say very player focused. Can you give us a little insight? Does he go off on one at half time? Is he? Come on, talk to us. Give us a few little insight.
Game day comes. He's still relaxed, but you know it's time to go to work. I think the only time he's really given us a dig was when we beat Millwall 1-0 at home. He wasn't happy with the performance one bit. I think he gave us a Thursday off, didn't he? And he's come in and said, "You'll never get the Thursday off again." So,
and you'd won.
And we won 1-0. Yeah.
So you win 1-0, clean sheet. So what was he? Did he feel that you should have killed the game off and they nearly equalised, or what was it?
Yeah, I think he just thought the whole thing was a bit lackadaisical and lethargic. And I think obviously he attributed that to the fact that we had the Thursday off 2 days before a game. So. But me and Benno, we worked with Alex Neil, and that was his day off. Thursday was his day off, and I found it worked quite well for us. But obviously, Nuno doesn't like it.
There's a few lads that spring to mind. I think H is funny, but he's really annoying, isn't he?
H is just
how
in your face all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. He's like a kid at Christmas every single day.
I find Cav really funny.
Yeah.
So he's got so many teeth. He's
Everyone just rips into Doc every day, so he gets a lot of stick.
Yeah.
There's no actual proper jokers, is there? Really? I mean, we had one the other day where I think can I say it was H. I've just said it to H. But he's basically glued the physio's trainers to the physio floor. And when I say glue, it was like super glue. Like if you took them off, the floor was coming up with them. So that was a good bit of banter.
You really look forward to playing it.
Probably Old Trafford. Yeah. Obviously, the big teams are always going to be exciting to go and play there. But every game is going to be exciting. You know, even the smaller stadium, it's still going to be exciting to go and play. And, as you said, be in the Premier League.
So you're going to whip a free kick in past the Gea?
Hopefully.
Take a look at our cup performances. I mean, that wasn't even sort of the starting 11. We went to Man City, played nearly 2 hours of football and kept a clean sheet there with our system. So I think that can give every Wolves fan confidence that I think they've scored in every single game before they played against us. So that's some achievement. So we went there obviously thinking, oh, we're lambs to the slaughter here, do you know what I mean? And the manager gave us a talk before the game. And he said, look, trust in the shape, believe in the system, play in your position and just enjoy it. And it worked out well. Obviously we went out on penalties, but I think that can give every Wolves fan confidence going into the Premier League.
And how good is he?
To be fair, Ruben can be as good as he wants to be. But I think the best thing that I can say about him, and I'm sure all the lads will agree, was his mentality and how grounded he is as an individual. Is a credit to himself. You know, he is one of the best players I've ever played with, and he's still only 21. His range of passing, his composure on the ball, his way that he can dictate a game is phenomenal to see. And with his mentality, like I said, he can go right to the top. He can be anything he wants to be. And in training, to be fair, he doesn't shoot that often. He saves it for the free kicks on a Friday, which he's not too bad at. Yeah. He's shown that a few times this season.
What about the volley against Derby? Has he ever done that one in training? That was unbelievable. I think that's the best goal. I've been to Molineux a lot of times, sat on the bench a lot, watched a lot of games. And I'm going to tell you now, that is the best goal I've seen at Molineux. It really is. I thought it was an unbelievable strike, and he must have just stood there applauding it, because Scott Carson was like, I was lucky to do that for TalkSport. I mean, what a strike.
Yeah, to be fair, I couldn't even celebrate. It's just one of those moments you just think, how has he done it? You know, his first touch was so bad for him. his second touch, he's almost facing me for his second touch when he shot. So, you know, to be able to do that, and like I said, you know, that's the quality he's got. We've seen it week in, week out this year, and it's been an absolute pleasure for me to watch as a teammate. So as fans, I can only imagine what it's been like to watch from above.
He's done unbelievable this year. I mean, I think everyone's sort of seen it as well, and it's quite interesting really, because the first day of training, so Nuno come in and that was the position he played straight away from day one in first day, and he sort of turned around and was like, I'm out the picture already. I'm playing in the middle of the back three. He's not even looking like. Yet to know, we didn't know 3 weeks later, the first game of pre-season, that's where he played, and ultimately he's been there all this season. So he deserves the credit for that. He sees something that no one else has really seen before, and as I said, he's done unbelievable. He's a big character. He's good around. Oops. The range of passing they've both got, everyone's seen it this year, and it sort of set up a lot of our attacks. And but I think the credit goes to Nuno, and a lot of credit goes to Connor for embracing it as well.
Who's going to start me £100? Who's going to start me 100? I've got 100, £200. It's an original oil painting. So if there's anyone who's going to start at £500, this could be theirs. Original. I know it's a high reserve, but this is still very cheap for an original painting.
Do you want to come here and take one?
Yeah, Willie. Well, he defies all logic of what it is to be a footballer. I think we'd all agree on that. I think the size, he's just a massive human being. And the way he moves, but he's really graceful in the way he does everything. Yeah, it baffles me, and I know it baffles, we spoke about it within the squad, how, you know, I think he's 27 now, isn't he? And how he's never been at the top level, because he's got all the attributes to be, and you know, he's a really nice guy as well. So, you know, on that being said, we're extremely fortunate that he's been here this season, and hopefully he'll stay here next year and many years to come, and continue to have the impact he has on the pitch this season.
Do you ever say to him, just stick it in rosette? It must make you a little bit, sometimes he does take a chance, doesn't he?
Yeah, you get a little bit nervous at the start of the season, but then he just does it game on game and gets away with it, and you know the physicality of him, no one's going to get the ball off him. You know, once he's protected, that's it, it's his. I'll be perfectly honest with you, I admire what he's done this season, I really do. I think to put his stamp on Cardiff like he has done and be in the position where they are, I think Baz has just said there that Fulham deserve to go up, which they arguably do because they've been unbeaten for half the season now. But Cardiff have been up there or thereabouts as well all season, so I don't think you can discredit what he's done, and that he's, like I said earlier, I think if he was in the same position we were, he would have reacted exactly the same way. As it was, he threw his toys out the pram. You know, it was a bit sour in defeat, and it's just nice. Yeah, it's nice to get one over him, and especially on the pitch you don't see him doing all that stuff. So it was afterwards. It made the defeat, made the victory even more sweeter.
Getting beaten by Aston Villa, and then how pleased were you with the response?
I think it's been in general. I think when we've had a setback, I think every single time we haven't lost the game after, and that's been key for us as well. We spoke about that, but it was a big disappointment. I mean, you look at how much they celebrated and how we felt after. But again, as I said earlier, I touched on we sat down, we had a meeting, re-established everything we've done all season.
Just the players, or did Nuno?
No, just the players. Just the players. Danny called the meeting, and we sat down. Danny would talk, and other people would talk at the same time after that. And it was about re-establishing our goals, what we're working for, what we're doing, what we've been doing all season, and that's probably one of the key moments for me, actually, that meeting. But we went out from there and put a run of performances together and got where we needed to be. So yeah, I'd say that.
But Danny, was it a little bit like maybe? Hang on a minute. Yes, we got beaten 4-1, and I think everyone was saying the second half they were excellent. A few things didn't quite go. Wolves as well. I was commentating for TalkSport with my man in this room, Mr. Pearson. But all in all, was it saying, don't panic, look where we are? If someone had told us at this stage of the season we were going to be this number of points ahead with this many games to go, is that what it was? A bit of a actual just reality check and just take stock of actually where you were and say it wasn't the end of the world?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we had the Leeds game as well on the Wednesday night away at Leeds at Ellen Road. That was a big win for us, I thought. And then to go to Villa on the early kick-off, it was a tough game to start with away from home, and then things didn't go our way. So it's all about character at those moments. I think anyone can shy away, and the reason we're in our position we are right now is because we're happy to stand up and confront it. And I think we've done this all season. We've always bounced back from a defeat. And it's quite funny actually being sat here now because, I mean, Villa could have celebrated for that night or maybe the weekend, but obviously at this point in time we're celebrating all summer, so I think we'd have took that at the time.
Got that equaliser at Fulham, how good did that feel?
Oh, it was surreal. I mean, obviously, yeah, I mean, we were all the players sat in this dark room. It was like a sort of cinema kind of environment. But the manager and his staff were sat in the dining room with just a Sky telly, and there was a little bit of a delay on our television. So we sat there, I think I fell asleep first half, seriously. So we woke up, got obviously the end of the game, think, nothing's going to happen here, it's going to fizzle out. It's about, I think it was about 91st minute. Well, it said 91st minute on our screen anyway, and I think Nuno was going ecstatic, like almost unbelievable, to the point where we were like, oh, he's trying to have us on here. We were like looking at each other nervously. And then they all just came running in. And then we watched it on our TV and it just went, everyone up, mental. It was an unbelievable moment. Everyone was hugging, cheering, screaming. I think Baz was crying. But then straight away after the final whistle blew, we were like, oh, we've got a game tomorrow. So,
not even no alcohol, nothing, just focusing on the next.
Nothing. Not even nothing. Just straight to bed, no room service. I tried to order a cup of tea, but they wouldn't bring any beer up, so done nothing. Yeah, straight to bed and focus on the game. And I think you saw in the Birmingham game the performance the lads put in. That was almost a test of our professionalism, really. I think a lot of teams would have just thought, oh, I'll tell you what, we'll have a few beers here and we'll enjoy the evening. But I think we did it the right way. We've held off the celebrations and we get to enjoy it now all summer.